Yeah, welcome to the third tutorial of Python programming in database. So please don't forget to subscribe the channel and press the notification bell so that when the tutorial 4 comes you'll be get notified. So we're gonna get started. Today we are going to talk about number and math. Number and math. It's a part of the subpart of the data types class. So data types has several data types for Python. So one is like strings. We're gonna talk about it in the next tutorial. So today we are going to talk about the numbers. So number has several data types and we'll be going to explore them. So today I'm gonna first show up what are the data types in the Python. It is called int. It is called integer, and next is a float. It is called decimal numbers. Some people say decimal, or we can say floating point numbers, floating numbers, non numbers. The next thing is these are the main two data types. We can get like binary up there, and there are a lot more, but these are the basics. Binary, it's going to be somewhat different. So we have two data types which is very important. So what is an integer? You guys already know what this integer is. It says -1 to 0, says it can go till in minus infinity to 1 to to plus infinity. So you can have any numbers like -1 or 0, no matter what the sign is. You can just actually add two signs like we do for mathematics. No matter, it will consider it as plus. Okay, so the floating point numbers is the same thing as a real number. Real numbers has can have like rational numbers, which is a decimal point numbers, and also can have uh, like irrational numbers like root 2, root 3, anything it can have. So floating point number just has some it has some value here, and after the point it has some value here. So it does actually shows that it is a floating point number. So there are several operations we can do with these numbers. Like we can add them, we can just actually subtract them, we can just actually multiply them, and we can do division. So sometimes division is something, sorry, something like this one, and we can power them. Like powering means exponential, so we can give exponential. And if we need the integer value out of this one, we just need a quotient, and we need the reminder. The quotient would be something like this one, and the reminder is this one. This gives the addition between two elements. Addition. This is subtract, and this is multiplication or product. This is division. It is also called like float division or something like that. And this is called power. This is called integer division. And this is called reminder. This gives the reminder for your task. If you give two integer values like 5 plus some values like 5 plus 6, these two are integers, and it actually adds and gives 11. We can just actually do this in the programming session. If we do like this, star all raised to 6, this actually means that 5 raised to 6, this is what it actually means. And if we do 5 percentage, like this is called percentage in sometimes, so percent, so it gives the reminder for this one, 5 divided by 6, so 5 divided by 6, it gives like reminder which gives 5 itself. So yeah, that's the basics. So we can do integer plus integer, we can do integer plus floating point number, but I think the number outputting from it would be a floating point number. So yeah, we can just actually get into the programming task today. So we can take the ideally again. It's our favorite guy right now. In future, we'll be using different things. Yeah, we can create a new file here. So I can save it. So this is the program today we are going to do. So I think we can do this from the top, like we can do it from the beginning itself. So we can do it. So we are going to delete this all of this, and we can just start writing. So last time we learned about print statements, how we can just actually use them here itself. So here is a print, and we say this time we need an integer. I said that print can take any values inside of it and it can print in the screen. So I can give a comma, it will be defaultly separated by a space, and I can say here is an integer. Good, sorry about it. So we close the bracket and it will print it. The next time we say this is a 1.0, and you know what this is. What do you say about this one? What is this value? I guess it's wrong. This is not an integer value, it's a floating point number, because it has a point. If anything has a point, it's a floating point number. Not any number have a point, it is a floating point number. It's a floating or decimal number. Yeah, I'm not keeping a lot too much. So we said what the two numbers is, and we are going to do several operations on this one. First we are going to do 1 plus 2. We can say this one in a string that it is 1 plus 2 equal to, then we can keep a comma here and we can print that. The next time we can do these several operations, like copying this thing several times. You can do all these operations like 1 minus, there's a minus. We can do multiplication here. So this doesn't matter actually, but for showing it's a good practice. So usually this is represented as this sign, so we can keep it that then itself. So it gives every floating point number. So in order to know the type of the number, we can just have another function called type, and we can give any value inside of it. It will print, I'm going to print the type of it, so I need to know what the type of this one. And we can do another type here to see what the type of the integer, if it is integer, if this is integer or not, if this is floating point or not. We can just actually check them so we can understand what I said. So I'm gonna do all these operations on like the floating point numbers too. So I forgot to put one more operation, that is the integer division. So I can do that one too. Yeah, I can add here also. Yeah, a single point is enough. You don't want to keep the point 0 or something like that every time. A single point is enough to actually identify as a floating point number. We can just actually check here again with 1 point. We can keep a string here so that we can understand what is happening inside. Good. So this will give everything we wanted. We can get every operation. Sometimes we can also do integer with And right here, print integer only operations. Okay, and close this bracket. Don't forget it's a syntax error. We can say the same thing here. It's a floating point operations. Float operation only operations. You can say this is a mixed one. It's a mixed one. So we can do every single thing here. We can remove this time here, this time here, this time here. In an alternate way, I did it. We get every operations here, and we're going to print it, and we're going to run this program right now. We can add comments here, but I'm going to not showing comments here at all. Sorry about it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I just used here a single quote and here a double quote, so it didn't like it. We need the single quote. If it started with a single quotes, it should be end with single quotes. If it is starting with double quotes, it should stop with the double quotes. Yeah, so I can run out now. Okay, sorry. Sorry. Yeah, I copied it, so yeah, possibly it could have error. Yeah, save it. You can see here every single operation without an error. You can see here one is an integer. This is what I said, so you can just actually, this is 1.0 is a floating point number, but what we gave here is that it print the type of the 1.0 is float, and the 1 point also float, and for the 1 it print as int. You see here this is an int. So we can this means that if we give a single point, it is enough to identify it as a floating point number. We did a several operations. 1 plus 2 is 3, 1 minus 1 is 1, is 1 into 2 is 2, 1 by 2. 1 by 2 is 0.5, and all these operations are quite a good way. And you can see this, the same thing is actually, but it has a point every single after that. If an integer and a floating point number is adding, the output would be a floating point number, that's for sure. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, put in the Discord channel. So thank you.